Hello everyone, welcome back to Pharma E-Class. I am Anindya Goswami from Smriti College of Pharmaceutical Education, Indore, and in today's session let us discuss about mixing, which is another important chapter in Unit 3. So as far as our syllabus is concerned, in mixing we will study the objectives, applications and factors affecting mixing, difference between solid and liquid mixing, mechanisms of solid mixing, liquids mixing and semi-solid mixing, principles, construction, working, uses, merits and demerits of double cone blender, twin shell blender, ribbon blender, sigma blade mixer, planetary mixers, propellers, turbines, paddles and Silverson emulsifier. So before starting, let us discuss the basics about mixture. What is actually we mean by mixing or by the term. So mixing is defined as a process that tends to result in randomization of dissimilar particles within a system. So in a system, a number of particles are there. It is not that all the particles are similar, but to randomize a system with some dissimilar particles, that particular process which tends to result in randomization of dissimilar particles within a particular system, so that a good homogeneous system is the result, that particular process is called as mixing, which is routinely done in different pharmaceutical industries for different purposes. Another form of definition is, this is an operation in which two or more components in a separate or roughly mixed condition are treated so that each particle lies as nearly as possible in contact with a particle of each of the other ingredients. So in a system there may be more than one ingredient. So when we want to mix both those ingredients, so our mixing should be that proper that the particle of one ingredient should lie quite closer as possible to the particle of the other ingredient. So in that case, if this happens, if this efficiency could be reached, then only we can say the mixing has been very well done. So these are the two basic definitions of mixing. An important unit operation which is routinely followed, maybe for solid drugs, maybe to mix some liquids, maybe to mix liquid with solids, maybe to mix different semi-solids in the form of dispersions also, and maybe some gaseous mixtures also. So mixing, the unit operation is applied in each and every aspect of the pharmaceutical ingredient to make a finished product. So let us see what are the objectives of mixing. So these are the four basic objectives of mixing, namely simple physical mixture, physical change, dispersion and promotion of a reaction. So to simple physical mixture means, the simple physical mixture means to simply the production of a blend, to produce a blend, because we have to formulate a particular substance. So to mix, to particularly blend certain substance, we need to undergo this particular process. So it is the first objective, that is simple physical mixture. Two dissimilar particles, maybe three, maybe more than three. So we have to make it into a particular system, make it into a homogeneous system. So for that purpose, that is the basic objective, we need to prepare a simple physical mixture. Next, physical change. Mixing can aim at producing a change that is physical. For example, maybe the solution of a soluble substance. To obtain that particular physical change, we have to undergo its mixing process. Next, dispersion. Different types of dispersions are being produced by the only help of the mixing process. If we don't mix the different solids with the solvent, then there will be some dissimilar particles and they will completely ruin the system. So to prepare dispersions, that mixing process is inevitable. And lastly, for the promotion of any reaction, mixing will usually encourage and control at the same time a chemical reaction. So ensuring uniform product. So if we want to obtain a uniform product, we have to ensure the mixing of the ingredients, maybe between two solids, maybe with the solid or the solvent, maybe between the two immiscible or two miscible liquids also. So that process is complete. Let us come to the applications of the process, mixing process. Yes, it is the most common pharmaceutical operation which is routinely used for the production of different types of pharmaceuticals. Maybe so from the basic powders to simple powders, compound powders, and different types of other powders for external and internal use. Maybe liquid dosage form that starts from syrup to different types of liquids which is used for external use as well as for internal use. Some semi-solid like creams, ointments, pastes, these are the semi-solids. So each and every, and even for aerosol or other spray type of products, so we need to mix the ingredients because no single product is made with a single ingredient. So there will be definitely multiple ingredients, and so we will have to undergo the process of mixing. If the mixing won't be proper, there would be different problems of maybe of content uniformity and many other different problems. Segregation, not proper mixing, so all the resultant of improper mixing. So mixing is the most common pharmaceutical operation which is routinely done in different pharmaceutical industries for the production of formulations at a regular basis. Yes, wet mixing in terms of granulation, wet granulation process for the preparation of tablets. Dry mixing again for the preparation of tablets, for preparation of the dry compression blend for dry compression process of tablets. Blending for capsules or different types of powders. There is a very thin line between blending and mixing. We'll come to that. We'll start with solid mixings, but more or less though the basic terms are quite similar, but there is a bit difference also. So blending for capsules, blending involves a small amount of energy, quite a small amount of energy in which the powders are solid for the capsules or powders, for compound powders or different types of powders for external use. It is blended, not very rigorously it is mixed. The term mixing involves quite rigorous, high amount of energy is being utilized, and blending, very small amount of energy is utilized, and maybe by simple blades or simple movement of the mixer it is being done. So simple blending for capsules or for powders. And for example, for the mixing of some immiscible liquid, for the preparation of different type of liquid dosage form, to mix two different types of liquid, two different liquids of different densities, to immiscible liquids, or maybe with some miscible liquids to miscible liquids, but we have to ensure that the product is immiscible. The product the product does not segregate when we are going to use it. So we have to concentrate on the mixing process, be it be two immiscible liquid or maybe two miscible liquids also, or maybe mixing of solids with the solvent, or maybe one or more solids, which mostly happens with the formulations, and that those solids are being mixed with a particular solvent or maybe solvents. So this process is inevitable, it is totally done. As well as for mixing of different semi-solids in the production of ointments, pastes. This type of semi-solids are routinely produced for the external purposes or maybe for the internal purposes very few. So they'll also undergo the process of mixing. And also for mixing of cohesive or the sticky sort of substances, like maybe for clay-like substances, they are very sticky, they are cohesive materials for that particular mixing, as well as some non-cohesive or maybe some free-flowing like sand, like that free-flowing, or some free-flowing powders. So they are also inevitable, they are also routinely needed. The process of mixing is routinely being done. So these are the applications of the mixing process. Let us come to now the types of mixtures. We have three basic type of mixtures. We have positive mixtures, we have negative mixtures, and we have neutral mixtures. Now what are positive mixtures? Positive mixtures are formed from materials such as gases and miscible liquids, where irreversible mixing would take place by diffusion without the expenditure of energy, provided that the time is unlimited. But the beauty of the fact is that such materials, like for example miscible liquids or maybe gases, they do not present any problem in the mixing. So those are positive mixtures. So with the use of a very minimum amount of energy, the particles will get mixed, like for example miscible liquids or maybe gases. The second category of mixtures are negative mixtures. Negative mixtures actually they need very high energy, because if we do not apply very high energy, like for example suspensions of solid in liquids are the examples of negative mixtures, and the component tend to get segregated if we do not utilize high energy. So high energy is needed for the generation of negative mixtures. And the third one is neutral mixtures, like for example different types of pastes or ointments. They are not static in their behavior, and the components having no tendency to desegregate. So once the components are mixed, they are having no tendency of desegregation. So it is a neutral mixture. Neither it is a positive, it is having the properties of positive mixtures, neither it is having the property of negative mixture. That is, they are not quite difficult to mix and they are not very easy to segregate. So we do not need, but we have to do some work regarding their mixing, like for example pastes and ointments, and once they are mixed, they are not going to segregate very easily. So they are neutral mixtures. Next come to the difference between solid mixing and liquid mixing. The basic difference between solid and liquid mixing is the fact of the utilization. Yes, the flow currents are not possible in terms of solid mixing, whereas flow currents are the only requirement for generation for the transport of unmixed material to the mixing zone, which is near to the impeller shaft or the mixing device for the liquid mixing. So once these flow currents are generated, then only the unmixed materials, maybe solid with the solvent, maybe the unmixed material will move on to the mixing zone where the agitator shaft is there, or the impeller shaft. When we will study liquid mixing, we will see what is impeller, what is shaft is. But in terms of solid mixing, the generation of flow current is not possible. We have to mix the powder bed randomized way as a whole by different types of maybe tumbling action, or with the help of different types of other forms of action with the help of high shear, high force. Yes, the product for solid mixing often contains two or more easily identifiable phases. In terms of solid mixing, when maybe 2 or 3 products are being mixed, in the mixture also, it is sometimes we can identify those 2 phases or those 3 phases if there are 3 ingredients. But in terms of when the liquid mixing has been properly done, then truly homogeneous liquid phase is observed. Suppose maybe in terms of a solid which is quite soluble in the solvent, so with the help of a very minimum amount of agitation or mixing energy, we have mixed it. Now we have got a homogeneous liquid phase, and it is quite impossible to obtain that solid from that homogeneous liquid phase. So mixing of liquids is an easier process in compared to a solid one. And third is, it requires high power. The solid mixing requires high power, because we need tons of powders, kgs of powders. So we need to entirely mix the particles, randomized particles. We have to dissimilar particles in a single system. So we have to utilize high shear, high amount of energy, and that much of energy is not needed in terms of liquid mixing, because the liquid mixing is comparatively, it is a easier process. And when the terms of the examination of the process, that the mixing has properly occurred or not, if we want to see in terms of solid mixing, a quite good amount of sample is required, but in terms of liquid mixing, quite a low amount of sample is only required to check the degree of mixing. So these are the basic differences between a solid mixing process and a liquid mixing.